Yay. All right. We will not let technical difficulties stop us.
No, you
I
won't.
am here today with my beautiful friend, Andi Bartholomew, and we are going to be discussing more on the topic of EBV and menopause. So I am hosting this call today. She had me on her group last month. No, February.
Yes,
In
February.
February. And we had a little discussion about this. So we are just continuing where we left off. But this time I'm asking Andi the questions, and she's going to share with you her knowledge and wisdom around more of the EBV side. So, Andi, share with us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how you got into working with people and EBV.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really excited. I love to talk about Epstein Barr virus. So my name is Andi Bartholomew, and I am a functional nutritional therapy practitioner, and I specialize in Epstein Barr. And the reason behind it, because I found out that my Hashimoto's was connected to Epstein Barr virus reactivation.
Mm,
And dealing with EBV was actually helping me reducing my autoimmune um, disease, which they say that you cannot do anything about it, but I just proved it that you can. I was born in Hungary, so I'm a Hungarian, and I came to the US in 97. Just a visit. I was involved with Peace Corps in Hungary, and I had a wonderful friend who lived in Colorado, and she invited me over here. And I guess I just loved it. And of course, I met my husband, who is from England, and we just stayed here, and we love it. So
that's
that's
awesome.
short story.
No, that is awesome. I love it. And I mean, I knew a little bit about your background and things like that because we have had in person encounter before, and
And we live in the same state.
we live in the same state, which is so very rare in our
Yeah,
working environment. We're all over the country,
true.
but I have a friend who also has a lot of autoimmune
Hmm.
issues, so I hope that she can catch this video
Yeah.
and learn some and maybe reach out to you and see what she can do.
Hmm.
So, a couple of questions I have for you. What exactly is EBV and how does it typically affect the body?
So Epstein-Barr virus is a one of the herpes viruses. And herpes viruses cause the little canker sores if you have it, in the corner of your mouth. So
Mhm.
EBV is one of these herpes viruses. And it is one of the most um, widespread viruses in the world.
Mm.
There are research studies showing that some of them saying up to 90% of the world population, but I would say between 70 and 90% of the population has this virus
Oh,
in the
wow.
body. So it's very widespread. It doesn't mean, though, that everybody is always in a reactivated state with symptoms. Now,
Mhm.
as this is a very old, also it's a very old virus, goes back to thousands of years, even
Mhm.
though it was just discovered, I think it was 64 when it was discovered, and it was discovered in cancer cells. So it
Mm.
is, unfortunately, a cancer-causing virus. But I don't want anybody to get really worried about this because, you know, cancer needs a very specific environment to grow. So if we are
Right.
really working on our external and internal environment, creating something that this virus cannot get out of latency, which is what we call when it is in an organ, just staying kind of dormant, but I would
Mhm.
say latency because it's still active in that organ, but it doesn't cause symptoms. So that's
Mm.
what we call latency.
Right, right, right.
So if we are taking care of our environment, this Epstein-Barr virus can just stay in that organ forever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and how it affects the body is really this is the most important thing that we need to understand about this virus, because it's evolved through these years. It evolved in a way that now creates so many almost non correlated symptoms. So
Mm.
some
Kind of
people
like
could have,
menopause.
yeah,
Yeah.
some people could have just the typical menopausal symptoms, and we are just looking at it as menopause. But if we go a little bit deeper, we could
Mm-hmm.
see, and I'm thinking of women who are starting menopause very early.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if a person goes through menopause in their mid 50s, that's usually what we say, okay, that's kind of normal.
Normal.
But
Mm-hmm.
when we are looking at, I would say, young females in their 30s going
Mm-hmm.
through menopause, that
That
is something that
perimenopause.
is a high, like, oh, there is something that is
Else.
triggering. So
Mm-hmm.
that's when I would look into maybe a viral infection. And I'm not always saying that it's Epstein-Barr, but
Mm-hmm.
most of the time it is Epstein-Barr, or cytomegalovirus, something that is staying in the body and then get reactivated because of internal, external, the environment. So,
That's
yeah, go ahead.
no, I was going to say that is a great segue actually into my next question about is there research or a link between the Epstein Barr virus and an onset of menopause?
So I actually went on and I wanted to see if there was something new. But as you know, and I think most of us don't know, but because we are in this um, realm in holistic health, we know that there are not many research studies done on women. And this
Mm-hmm.
is so bad. They don't use women, and I think the reason behind it is because we are hormonal. We are so uh, depending on our hormones, and we are very emotional, and we are, and I think researchers do not like that. They like the man who just have one hormone or maybe two that is play significant in their life, so they study more men, and men don't really go through menopause in a way like
No,
we do.
not
So
like
I
we
found
do, but yeah.
one research study that connected EBV to estrogen, and what we know about EBV is that whenever hormonal changes appear, so we can talk about puberty, we can
Mm-hmm.
talk about menopause, and we also need to talk about pregnancy. Each time when a woman or a girl goes through these hormonal changes, EBV reacts to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying all the time, because you can go through these changes smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
And it again goes back to our external and internal environment. What is going on in the body that creates the perfect storm for a virus to come out of the hiding place and create symptoms? So,
Mm-hmm.
going back to your question, the research study that I found was talking about how estrogen um, interacts with this virus, because this EBV affects how estrogen is metabolized in the body, and then
Mm-hmm.
it could actually go into a dominance of the O estrogen that could be, which is a good estrogen, but if it's in dominance, it can cause more inflammatory symptoms. So that was the research that I found. But we know that hormonal changes um, affect Epstein-Barr virus reactivation.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's actually my third question. So, what might Epstein Barr virus influence hormonal changes as women approach menopause?
So
And,
again,
and what symptoms might overlap?
yeah, so the symptoms that can overlap are many, and I know that you're going to ask me about that one. So just the how EBV can influence it. When EBV reactivates, it can make the symptoms worse. And the symptoms that we are talking about that overlap is fatigue. So you are not just going to get that normal fatigue that can come with hormonal changes, which is normal. And, you know, and I know that you say that menopause is not a disease. It's a beautiful transition in my way. And I'm 56 now. And I have to say that this is the best time of should be of our lives,
Should be.
because our kids are grown. You already have your career that you chose. You should be passionate, happy, joyful. And many of the women don't feel that way because that exhaustion just comes in so heavily. So
Hmm.
EBV can make that fatigue to
Even
become
worse.
like an exhaustion,
Mm.
to the point that and I'm just thinking of myself. That was my biggest thing that came in, um, that I was not able to drive after 1 p.m. because I was
Mm.
exhausted. Also, the brain, because of the brain is changing as we go through menopause. EBV can create more of the brain fog, and that's when it comes out that you know what to say, it's on your tip of your tongue, and you just kind of stop. And that
Hmm.
was another thing with me, because my son was like, okay, mom, spit it out, I'm waiting. And I said, I don't know the word, it's just not coming out. I know
Hmm.
what I want to say, but it just don't come out.
It's here,
So
but it's not getting here, and from here, it's not.
So EBV
Yeah,
can
menopause for
definitely
me.
create that brain fog, um, that is worse than just like, okay, I don't remember my keys, or
Uh-huh.
I don't remember my name. It's like and it's a struggle, and it makes you feel awful. That, like, that pause, and you
Hmm.
just do not get it.
Hmm.
Other things that could come up with, that I see with my clients, are a lot of food sensitivities or allergies that come up all of a sudden. They are like,
Hmm.
I never had anything wrong with, I cannot eat raw salad. Like, even lettuce makes me feel sick. I said, yeah,
Oh,
that could
wow.
be that could
Okay.
be because
So,
our gut is really immobilized with Epstein-Barr virus. I see a lot of leaky gut. I would say
mm,
99% of the people with EBV have leaky gut. So we definitely need to make that um, microbiome connection, and we need to take care of the gut, because that is the
the
connection.
brain,
There is
yep,
so many
the
connection with the gut,
brain gut
gut and
connection.
brain, gut and oral. Holy
Hmm.
moly, that is a new thing that's coming up. Okay,
So there,
sleep.
that goes into the next question. You are just on it today. I mean, I know I sent you the questions, but still,
Yeah.
what lifestyle changes do you think can help manage symptoms related to both Epstein-Barr and menopause?
I think one of the biggie for Epstein-Barr virus to reactivate and definitely make it worse with menopausal symptoms is our stress level. And I know that we talk about stress all the time.
Mhm.
And it's not that I want everyone to be stress free. We cannot. We live in a society that bombards us with, the social media, just
World
bringing the
event.
phone.
Hmm.
But what we need to understand that our body is able to get the stress if we are creating a time when we can wind down. So that's what I want people to know. It's okay, well, it would be lovely not to have stress, but if we can create a time where we de distress and the body
Hmm.
knows that distress is coming, it's okay. And some people need to do it more often than others.
Hmm.
Some people are very good at creating a morning ritual when they start the day with just sitting, breathing, going out, see the sunrise, being with animals, and just calm morning routine to
Hmm.
get the body ready for the whatever stress is coming in
For
a
the day.
work
Hmm.
environment. But some people need to distress maybe every 90 minutes. And that distress is not like you have to go and sit in meditation for 30 minutes.
All
We
right.
just need to know that our body, how to get that vagus nerve activation. And I know that you teach a lot about those things.
Hmm.
Even a couple of minutes just to reset is going to help the body to reduce that stress.
Hmm.
And with stress, I have to mention cortisol because that is another big thing. With menopause, our
Hmm.
blood sugar is just up and down, and
Hmm.
that goes the cortisol, insulin. And with cortisol, if we have the stress high, our cortisol is high, of course, and cortisol wants us to move. So
Hmm.
when you have just a tiny tip with that one, if you have a stressful meeting and you're done with the meeting, I want you to just stand up and do some squats. 10 squats. Just get that cortisol down so your
Hmm.
body is going to relax.
Or
Um,
dance, put on a song and just move your body.
yes.
Hmm.
And the
Yep.
other thing is sleep. I think women are prone to sleep deprivation. I don't know you, but that was me because everybody's going to bed early and I just love
Hmm.
it. Go, go. And that's my time. So I'm
Uh-huh.
up at 11, 11:30. I'm just reading, but that's not good.
No.
That is not good because we are depriving ourselves. We
Hmm.
need 7 to 8 hours minimum of good night's sleep. So
Hmm.
stress, sleep, those are my two biggie, and then work on your blood sugar.
How can women be educated about the potential risks associated with Epstein Barr and as they approach menopause?
Wow, this is hard because the Western medical community are not accepting Epstein-Barr virus yet, even though there are thousands, and I'm not joking, if you just put in Epstein-Barr virus in PubMed,
Hmm.
thousands of research studies coming out from even the 60s, not just now, but there
Hmm.
is more and more now, and definitely after COVID, because COVID was a huge reactivator.
Mm,
Viruses like
okay.
other viruses or
Yeah. Yeah.
bacteria.
Hmm.
So when there's something going on, they love to reactivate, come together, so make
They
you
just have
feel
a little
worse.
party.
Yeah, like come on, let's go. So I think this is why I am such a big advocate to self education. I
Hmm.
teach women how to, if they want to go to the doctor, I never went because they just did not know about EBV. But if
Hmm.
they want to know, they want to go to their doctor and ask for tests, ask for whatever they want to accomplish. They need to know and be an advocate for themselves. They need to
Hmm.
know about what kind of test they need to ask because Still,
They're
still,
not going to just
even
offer it.
infectious disease doctors do not accept that Epstein-Barr virus can reactivate and can cause chronic reactivation. They are
Mm.
still saying that, oh, it's just a virus that comes and goes, which is not true. It
Mm-hmm.
can stay in the body in a reactivated state, and it's also can reactivate after reactivation. So that's a another big difference of different
Mm-hmm.
viruses. Like shingles, when you have shingles
Mm.
virus, you have like 6 weeks. I don't have shingles, knock on wood,
Yeah,
but
no, I got vaccinated as well.
so
But my mom
that's
has
like a
shingles.
6 week or 8 weeks. And
Mm-hmm.
you have the symptoms, you have the bumps, you have the pain, and then it goes away. And
Mm-hmm.
then it will come back whenever again. Epstein-Barr virus does not do that because it changes the DNA of the cell.
Mm.
And so it can just reactivate, making new cells um, and those little virins. So
Well,
there is a huge component of how we advocate for ourselves, and the easiest way is just start researching. Do your research. There are books out about Epstein Barr, and my favorite one, may I say it?
please.
The book that I highly recommend, and she's my mentor. Dr. Kasha Kynes wrote a very deep, intensive book about Epstein Barr, over 900 pages. It's
Mm.
really written for practitioners in a way that she puts a lot of research studies in there. But again, for people who just want to know about it, it's a good book to look at it, and it's called EBV Solutions. Dr. Kasha Kynes, EBV Solutions.
Okay.
So that's a really good research.
I'll
Sorry.
look for that, everyone. Yeah,
Yeah,
make sure if you want to know more about this, reach out to Andi in her Facebook group, and she'll give you that information here at the end. And that book, I'm gonna actually
yeah.
check it out myself.
Yes,
So
definitely. I think it's a
I have
really
a
good one.
question outside of no, you're fine. So when the herpes, that going back to that you said, the kissing virus, when we were in high school,
Mhm.
what it was called, when you get those cold sores and things like that, and when they go away, come back, go away, come back, that's them reactivating whenever, like, you're stressed, or how exactly does that
So
correlate?
what you were mentioning, mononucleosis, mono is the kissing
Mm-hmm.
disease. That
Mm-hmm.
is caused by Epstein-Barr virus. And that is the only thing that the medical society accept as like a
Oh, okay.
viral disease.
Mm-hmm.
But Epstein-Barr virus can cause more than just fatigue and swollen nodes, lymph nodes, and sore throat, fever. That's usually what comes with um, mono.
Mm-hmm.
You do not need to have mono to have Epstein-Barr virus, by the way. I never had mono, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But we usually get affected when we are kids. And if you or anybody who is listening and watching had a lot of strep throat,
Strep throat. Mhm.
infection, um, or tonsillitis, if your tonsils are removed, you have Epstein-Barr. Because I could say 99.9% of the people who have their tonsils removed have Epstein-Barr.
I still
Uh,
have my tonsils, but when I was a kid, I
yeah, that
got
was me. That was me
tonsils
too.
all the time. I
So we
never took mine
usually
out
get
though.
that. We usually
Mhm.
get that when we are kids, and we go
Mhm.
through it pretty easily because our immune system is still ready to fight. As
Mhm.
we get older and as our immune system is bombarded with a lot of bacterial, viral, or other pathogens, not to mention other toxicity that are in the environment and our
Mhm.
food, our immune system is getting weaker and weaker. So the older we get Epstein Barr, the more severe the symptoms could be. So
Mm.
if you get mono when you're 40, you are going to be pretty sick with that
Yeah,
one.
that's like getting chicken pox as
Hmm.
an adult versus as a kid. It's a lot
Yeah.
harder.
Yeah.
That,
So mono is just one way Epstein-Barr virus or Epstein-Barr virus causes mono, but there are now different, like autoimmune diseases. We have a research study stating seven major diseases, autoimmune diseases that are linked to Epstein-Barr, and one
wow.
that was really an eye opener for me was celiac.
Mm-hmm.
Celiac
Right.
disease is
Mm-hmm.
now connected to Epstein-Barr virus, fibromyalgia, uh,
Mm-hmm.
MS, um, chronic fatigue syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
um, rheumatoid arthritis, juvenile rheumatoid arthritis linked
Mm.
to
Epstein.
Epstein-Barr. And also one that was mentioned in that research study, they were finding the EBNA2 protein in breast cancer. They did not say that EBV is causing breast cancer, but they were
Mm-hmm.
finding that EBV protein, which suggests that there could be a correlation with like prolonged reactivation of EBV and breast cancer. We know that EBV is
Mm-hmm.
cancerous.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised, but that would be a wonderful thing to go on and research it more. And I'm hoping that they are going to do that.
Yes. That.
Hashimoto's, I don't want to, because that was mine.
You know.
Hashimoto's, the
Yeah.
thyroid autoimmune diseases, Graves or
Mm-hmm.
Hashimoto's.
Mm-hmm. Well, what is one belief about Epstein-Barr that you want people to know is not a fact?
Uh, I think I already mentioned it, but one thing that I really want people to know is Epstein-Barr is not just one um, virus that comes and goes like shingles.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as I mentioned, it affects the DNA in a way that um, the cell is undetectable. Our cells, our immune cells, and there are lots of them that are fighting for us, like the killer cells, the B cells, the T cells. They
Mm-hmm.
are fighting anything that comes into the body. EBV loves B cells, so in this northern hemisphere, the research study shows that EBV usually gets into B cells, and then
Mm-hmm.
in other areas like in the Asia and Africa, it's more the T cells. We don't know why, but both of them are immune cells. So when an immune cell gets affected by a bacteria or other viruses,
Mm-hmm.
the cell has this innate wisdom to send out signals that, hey, I'm affected, please come and destroy me.
Mm-hmm.
Or that's one, and the other one is they commit suicide and they just die off.
Mm.
Now, when EBV gets into the cell, it changes the DNA that the cell, this affected B cell, cannot send out signals anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
the other immune cells do not detect it as an affected cell, so they
So.
are not destroying it. What it
Mm.
means is that cell is just going to like, okay, I'm going to create more little affected cells and send it out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's one thing that I want people to know, that EBV is not just a virus that comes and goes. It can reactivate if the environment is perfect for it.
Yeah. Well, how can my audience reach you and learn more? And what is like a free offer that you have for them that you could share?
So we have a big community on Facebook. It's called Overcoming Epstein-Barr Virus. And that is the community where I, just like you, I support my members with free videos. I do have a newsletter that comes out monthly, and I also have an EBV masterclass that is coming up. And I know that the date, and I totally forgot it, so I'm going to just look at it. I think yes, it's coming up April 22nd, which is a Wednesday. It's
Okay.
called EBV Healing Basics. It's a free masterclass, and I think it's going to be at 11 a.m. Um, and we can just put the sign up for that one. It's going to be on Zoom. I like people to come on and see what I'm showing, because after the presentation, it's about a 70-minute presentation.
Hmm.
I talk about what we talked about, how the medical society sees Epstein Barr virus, how the virus works. I talk about the tests. So
Hmm.
people, if they want to know what kind of tests they need to ask for, I go into that and I look at some ways that we can actually start healing from Epstein-Barr. So 22nd, 11 a.m.
Yep. And
And
we'll
then
put
we have
those,
a,
yeah, we'll put that in the comments after this video so you guys
yeah.
can have that and find Andi in her Facebook group and join her community. She has a lot of information to share. She's an amazing human and I love her so much.
Oh, thank you. You are too.
Oh,
I
thank
think
you.
together we are just going to rock this world,
Yes, we are. We're going to
helping
help
women stand up
helping
for
women
themselves.
support themselves, survive all of the things that are thrown at us,
Yeah.
and come out stronger on the other side.
Yeah.
So we didn't quite hit all of our questions, Andy. So maybe we'll do another one of these
Thank
in a
you.
few weeks after your master class. I've got an event coming up at the end of April. It's an in-person event um, talking about perimenopause and
Mhm.
puberty, how they mirror each other. So um, let's
That
set
and
it up.
I am so grateful that you're doing this. We are not taught what it means. In older days, they didn't even talk about when we were getting our first period. It was like a taboo. We need to educate, and I think this education needs to start so early. Kids are getting their first period at 11 and
Yeah,
10.
yeah.
So
I'm terrified. My
we need to
granddaughter turns
educate
10
them.
in 2 weeks, and I'm just like, please, no, please, no.
Yes.
So,
So I am so grateful for what you're doing.
and thank you for joining me, Andy. I appreciate you in every way.
Thank you.
We'll talk soon.